Alright everyone, welcome to the F-14 again. This time I'm going to go through the backseat startup procedures that are going to go on at the same time as the front seat startup. However, we will still need some of the same things, and for the purposes of the sim, I will need to turn on up here, so I'm going to turn on our ground power.
Chief, turn on the ground power.
And our
Copy.
ground air supply.
Chief, connect ground air supply.
This will let us go through our
Ground
aircraft
power
startup.
is now on.
Alright,
Copy.
I'm going to arm my
Ground air
ejection seat,
supply is now connected.
and then I'm going to go to the Rio seat. First thing I'm going to do, turn on my ejection seat, close the canopy, turn on my oxygen, and now I'm going to go here and turn our weapon control system to standby. Okay, so that's going to take a little while to boot up. So this is our TID display, Tactical Information Display, and our DDD. This is for radar controls. This shows waypoint data, as well as other radar contacts around. Now we won't need to guide any weapons or anything, so this will be kind of irrelevant. And this will be usually just for situational awareness. Okay, so these are coming on now, right about now. So, we're going to go here to Nav, Own AC. Let's pull up our knee board. So we're going to have to enter our own lat long coordinates to align our INS. So let's go to here. Let's find lat. You can see that up there. 27, or first north. 27. 42. You can see that repeated up there. Now let's go to long, LE. Enter the coordinates from our knee board, 54.23.0. You can see that repeated up there. Now we're going to go to altitude here. Altitude. You can see -0 up there, but we're going to change that to 2641. Magnetic variation, not especially useful to us today. It just means the INS is going to drift a little bit, but whatever. Cool. So now we have our own data inputted. So you can see this is the wheel of all sorts of stuff. We can input our waypoints and stuff as the INS is aligning. Data link, target data, but not all this stuff is useful to us. So what we're going to do is we're going to come up here to ground align. This is going to start the INS alignment process. So it's going to move across here, this caret. As it moves here and there's a diamond on top, that's going to mean we have a course alignment we can start. Now a stored heading alignment would be much faster and get us all the way to the top to a final alignment in about 2 minutes, but we're not that lucky. We're just going to have to wait here. In the meantime, we can do all sorts of stuff. So let's go back and take care of some housekeeping. This is our weapons panel, our armament panel. We're going to have to set a bunch of this stuff to safe, so we don't jettison it by accident, even though we don't have any stores on. It's good practice. Let's turn on our radio by switching this dial over. Turn on our TACAN to transmit receive. That's a nav beacon. It's not especially useful to us right now, but good to know. In a normal startup, we'd be looking at all these breakers, but we just kind of want to get off the ground here. This will turn on our IFF. Internet, identify friend or foe. That's pretty useful. These switches should be in the correct positions already. We don't need lights on because it's the middle of the day. Check our chaff and flare counters. So we're going to switch that to manual so we can dispense chaff and flares when we need to. We're going to change our ECM profile to standby. It's going to help with jamming. Turn on our RWR, radar warning receiver, though that shouldn't really matter. Master caution illuminated, that's normal. You can see our fuel gauge here. We're going to turn our data link on. Data link on there. Okay. So this is moving pretty slow. It would take way longer in real life. So as soon as we see that caret, we're good to go. We're going to switch this knob to INS, and we're going to be good to go. Let's uncage our attitude indicator there. See if there's anything else we need to do. This is radar controls, not super necessary for us. We're not going to really have data link either, but good to have on just in case. We can mooch off of signals if they do have an AWACS in the area. This is also radar controls. There, this controls stuff on the DDD. You can see where our radar is pointing. Let's put our barometric altimeter reset as well. Now this would also be not on the Iranian Tomcat. This is our IR-TV select, so infrared / TCS television camera system. Basically a early version of like a targeting pod. It will direct a television camera to the point that your radar is focusing on, so it can help visual identification of enemy targets that you have radar lock on. One, that wouldn't be very useful to us today, and two, it's not even on this model. That would be an inaccuracy of the heat blur simulation. Though they are bringing the Iranian Tomcat specific model to the game at some point. This is a pretty good approximation though. It has the same engines, 90% of the same avionics. Good for familiarization. So the caret is starting to reach our desired position, which means that we're almost good to put this into our INS mode, and that will be all from the Rio seat. Really just a lot of waiting for startup. Oh, before we're gone, let's put in our waypoint 1. TAC data, waypoint 1. Let's input 25.15.3. So lat 25.15.3. .15.3. Awesome. Click enter. Longitude 55.21.8. East 21.55.8. Sorry, 55.21.8. Great. And our altitude of 16 feet. Though 16 is essentially 0. Alright, so we're good to go now. Let's switch to INS. And we're basically good to go now. In the Rio seat. We can see our waypoint 1 if we switch our steering cue to the correct range. Maybe not. Anyways, that's the Tomcat startup procedure from the Rio seat. You can see our waypoint repeated here. There we go. Great, thanks for joining.